Hello, thank you so much for the warm introduction. Hello Brian, welcome.
Yeah, hi Melissa.
It's an amazing opportunity to have this chat with you here in Bangkok. And welcome again everyone. We're going to talk about the exchanges, which was a hot topic this year. It's been a catastrophic and chaotic year. So I would like to start your assessment of how did we do into 2023 when we are coming to the end of the year? How do you see what happened and what were the benefits for cryptocurrencies and blockchain development, and what did we fail to do?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, a warm welcome to everybody present out here. So it's great that to see a lot of people out there, a lot of Indians, a lot of different countries, people from different countries out here. So that's the true essence of this Web3 world, you can say. It's truly decentralized. Like there are Thai people, there are people from Hong Kong, there are people from India, people from Europe, and I have some people I've seen who I'm speaking to being from US too. So welcome out here. My name is Brian Kuttikkat, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer for KoinBX. And to answer your question, it's been an interesting year for the exchanges. That's definitely there because we have been hearing a lot of new uses regarding Binance being with Coinbase. There has been a lot of news which is coming out about things. So it's an interesting year for us also as an exchange. So KoinBX operates in one of the biggest markets for crypto, that is India. I mean, you know that India's population is extremely high, and it's earlier it was just the second most populous country, but now it's the world's most populous country. So it's like 1.4 billion people out there, and we cater to the Indians out there. We started from there, and now we are catering to the whole of the world. Yeah.
So you're coming from a fintech background actually, and you have a law background also, which is very crucial for cryptocurrencies and blockchain space maturity. How do you see this centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges debate in the light of what's happening and in the general market dynamics? How do you see this discussion going on this year?
Yeah, so centralized exchanges versus decentralized exchanges, exactly what you said, that there has always been there, that which is a good exchange. I mean, is it the centralized exchange or is it the decentralized one? So centralized exchanges, if you see, I mean, the aim is always to get into the decentralized way because that's what the whole of the Web3 is looking out for. But the problem is that being into a decentralized exchange is very difficult. I mean, it's not easy for mass adoption. That to come. And if you see the previous panel also, they were saying that AI was around 12 years back when they were attending, and this will not even take 12 years, just it will take another 5 years. So what we are aiming as a centralized exchange is that centralized exchange would give the ease of coming into the Web3. That is, mass adoption becomes relatively easier. Now, if I go and ask somebody randomly and say that, okay, you need to actually open a wallet, then you need to actually keep the phrases in your mind, or you write it down somewhere and then do these swaps and all these things. These things becomes very difficult from a technicality point of view. But when it comes to centralized exchanges, it is like this. I mean, people can do an immediate sign up, and at the same time, they don't have to be bothered about losing their seed phrase. That is, if the seed phrase goes off, no problem. We can still reset it via the email ID or the mobile number and multiple other things. So it becomes relatively easier for the people to adopt Web3. So that's where the objective of centralized exchange comes. That centralized exchange would help you out to actually do a quick sign up, quickly get to the Web3 world, and that's what we as KoinBX is doing. I mean, KoinBX always does this thing that we try to make people easily come into the Web3 world. So we are bringing in people to the Web3 world. At the same time, around after 4 to 5 years, definitely we'll be also moving on to the decentralized side.
Thank you. There is definitely a huge benefit of centralized exchanges in terms of onboarding new users, and also some safety issues can be overcome by the decentralized exchanges infrastructure. What sort of security technological advancements you are applying? What sort of user friendliness in terms of security of the funds and trust minimization techniques you think that would be the case for centralized exchanges to thrive even better?
Yeah, so we are working on multiple security arrangements and a lot of multiple advancements on the exchange part, that is on the main core coding part. So those things are definitely happening onto our side. That is something which is very extremely internal on the cores which we actually grow up to. Secondly, from the technological point of view, what we are growing is earlier we had only spot market. In KoinBX, now we are coming up with the futures. We are also coming up with staking by this sprint. So that will be live onto our exchanges. And then if you see also we are also working on a DeFi decentralized wallet, which will be up in the probably by Q2 2024. And we'll be having that kind of connection out there in KoinBX. Secondly, if you see currently our exchange was only into, or you can say, into India geography. But now we are also going to the MENA, plus the African countries, African subcontinent, plus the South Asian countries, because there's a huge opportunity out there, and we guys try to give the same customer service out there to other people.
Amazing, congratulations. This is actually, it means spreading to Southeast Asia, MENA, and other countries in the region. What do you see the differences in the markets? Like, is there any difference in terms of the markets on dynamics user tendencies to reach the crypto, and how do you adapt to these user-specific market models?
Yeah, so in the market there are multiple kind of people, right? I mean, there are certain people who are like early innovators. There are certain people who are like, we can say, trend kind of a people, trending people, which means that they try to catch the trend out there. And then there are laggards, you can say, who are like, okay, they're pretty late into the system. Now, when we sit out here, all of you guys are actually in early innovators, you can say, because you have come to us to a part wherein into a Web3 world where the use cases are yet to come in a full manner, but yet you have started believing in the Web3 world. So it's the early innovators out here. Then you say that, okay, the moment the Bitcoin prices goes up to an all-time high, when it touches $60,000, when it touches $75,000. Now that's the time when everybody comes out there from the equity markets, from the stock markets, or you can say from the mutual funds market and all. They would, from the bond market, they would come and say, okay, I have missed out on something which early innovators have already got it. So now that's the time when they come into. So those are known as trending people, which means they try to catch the trend. And after all these things happen, there comes the laggards, you can say. I mean, when the whole show is over, probably they come into and say, okay, now let me invest in the Web3. But by that time, the train is already gone. So I think we cater to the newest people, that is the early innovators and the trending people as of now, to capture the market share. Because when we go to any new country, be it like any MENA country or the South Asian countries, or even in India itself, the cream crowd is usually the early innovators. The cream crowd, that's where we actually target the people out there, and we try to give them more information about the Web3 things, and about our exchange, on how Coinbase actually can help you in the early innovation kind of thing. And that's where we help them out. And we do this a lot of the activities pertaining to these two categories here.
So we can say your competitive advantage spreading to these different regions is being user-centric and the educational side of crypto, and the community-centric way of spreading, basically, can we say?
Yes, exactly. That is one side of the aspect. That is, now you can say, from a fundamental aspect. From a technical or a transactional aspect, if you see in India, there is no exchange in India which can actually take crypto deposits and at the same time bank deposits. Now you may say that, okay, it's very easy to take crypto deposits and withdrawal for an exchange, at the same time bank deposits and withdrawals. But in India, that's not the case. If you go to the gods of the gods, that is exchange god, the big daddy of exchanges, that is Binance. If you take Binance into India, you can deposit crypto and withdrawal, but you cannot actually add money via your bank account, because that needs banking license and banking trails. But with KoinBX, you can actually deposit crypto. At the same time, you can actually deposit via bank account also. So this is something which is a very, very distinctive advantage which is happening. We are also giving the same kind of an advantage to UAE customers. Now people in Dubai, people in the Abu Dhabi and Ras Al Khaimah and all the other Emirates can actually deposit via their banks and even deposit crypto. So which means that it solves a lot of cross-border kind of things, wherein you can simply transact cross-border from India, UAE and all those things. So that is the distinctive or transaction advantage. Fundamental advantage remains the same. We constantly give benefits to the users and try to bring them into the Web3 world.
And how do you tackle the different jurisdictions issues when you're spreading in a region, basically? Do you have a standard process of doing the researches and picking the country on top of the market's readiness based on jurisdiction? What are the biggest challenges you are facing?
Yeah, the biggest challenge definitely remains regulations. So regulations is always a big problem if you go to any country. Now, if you take Binance or KoinBX, they are struggling in the United States. If you see Kurtcan or any other exchanges, they are struggling on the UK part. So same way in India, we are not struggling, you can say, but yeah, it is literally difficult to manage an exchange in any of the countries, be it India, be it UAE. If you go to UAE also, BitOasis was an exchange, which is like a homegrown exchange in Dubai, but they had regulatory problems out there, and their VARA licenses had problems out there. So there are a lot of regulatory problems which we are also seeing, but how do we tackle that? We actually have a very strong compliance background people into our exchange. I myself is from the National Law School, Bangalore, that is one of the premier law school in India. So that actually helps us to cater to the lot of the regulations part, lot of the parts of compliance, and that's the reason why KoinBX, even after so many exchanges coming into India, they come and they go. All the exchanges will come to India. Even Coinbase came into India. One of the biggest regulated and listed exchange came to India, and within a day they had to go out because of the compliance problems. But KoinBX still remains strong from the past 5 years in the Indian subcontinent market. So we try to be compliant. I mean, compliance is something that you have to be there. I mean, we try to be compliant by 100% compliance would be there. I mean, we do not compromise on that aspect. And from a government standpoint, government needs tax on the things, and we give the government the taxes which is obligated to, and the government is pretty happy on that. So we are compliant, and we will be compliant throughout, not only in the Indian market but also to the UAE market and other things. Another second part of the question which you asked, that which are the other new markets which we are targeting on. It is quite strange, but I have to say that we were just analyzing the markets throughout the world, that which markets are doing well. So at one point of time it was the Indian market, at some point of time it was the Hong Kong market. There are multiple markets. Now the markets which have come up is usually the African markets. And I have to say that the African markets, especially countries like Nigeria and Sudan. Other day I was talking to the CEO of Cardano, that is Mr. Charles. So he was saying that in Nigeria, it is 30% kind of a crypto penetration. And if you see, 60 to 70% of the MasterCard and Visa transactions have fallen down. Okay, now this is a huge news. I mean, we are not understanding the gravity of this. 30% market share for crypto transaction in a country is great. It's awesome actually. Because if you see any country, be it India, be it even the US, the crypto transactions would be hardly 1%, hardly 2%. But why it is growing there in the African markets? Because these are the people who are not banked. Okay, we have a bank account, you have a bank account, everybody out here is having a bank account. But countries like Sudan, Nigeria and all, they don't have a bank account, they cannot transact. So that's the reason why the Web3 use cases are perfectly sitting out there. And I don't think it might take even 5 years to come there in those countries. The use cases would be coming up in the next 6 to 7 months itself. So I think the crypto revolution would first start from these countries.
Amazing. Africa is one of the earliest Bitcoin investment products target, and that was a good opportunity. But now Southeast Asia and APAC is actually also leading and coming into the place, right? And how do you see the hiring opportunities? Because there's also the business side of the exchanges and the all crypto projects, and with the new emerging markets, there's also a global workspace that's growing. In terms of developers, in terms of hiring opportunities, because Trescon is one of those conferences that has a high ratio of professionals. How do you see hiring opportunities in these different regions?
Yeah, there are huge hiring opportunities coming in the Web3 world, because if you see, India also as a country is a Web2 kind of a net exporter of technology. And if you see, that's something which drives the Indian market also from an employment perspective. Now, if you see other markets also, anything which comes as new has always an opportunity for hiring. Like for example, data sciences around 5 to 8 years back was an hiring opportunity. I mean, a lot of people who have studied data sciences is currently doing extremely well on the artificial intelligence part, and that's the reason why you can see 5 to 8 years back, they were everybody everywhere. They were data scientists. So now it's time for the Web3 world to come in, and at the same time, a lot of blockchain developers, a lot of blockchain analysts. So all these people would be in high demand in the upcoming 2 to 5 years down the line, and you can see a lot of hiring opportunities there. We as an exchange is also, KoinBX is also hiring extremely across the regions. So that is also there from that aspect. Yeah.
And what would you recommend for someone who would choose a career to escalate in the crypto exchange or a global cryptocurrency project? What would you recommend those who choose crypto as a career?
Yeah, crypto, for any career, there are two things required. One is skill, and second is will. Okay, so skill, definitely you can go and learn anywhere. You can go to the best of the best colleges out there and you can get the skill out there. Second is the will to get into this industry, because a lot of people are afraid to get into the Web3 world. So I think if you have the skill and the will to get into this industry, definitely there is a very high chance to get into it. And from a Web3 perspective, the skills can be a lot of, which I earlier said, blockchain developers are there. A lot of people, there are white paper analysts. Now, if you take any token, for any token, there is a proper white paper. White paper explains what the company is actually doing. So you can actually understand the fundamentals of the company from the white paper. If you read the white paper very well, we can understand that, okay, the company is doing well. At the same time, you can also see that if the company is following up on that white paper. A lot of white paper can be copied, a lot of white paper can be done. But if the fundamental things if the company is actually doing the white paper kind of thing as an executory point of view, then you can understand, okay, the company is going in the right direction. So there are a lot of these white paper analysts which positions are open. There are a lot of developer positions which are open. At the same time, if you want to create a career, there are some people who are just becoming unique holders of companies, and they're contributing into the blockchain world. So there is always a way to develop into it, and there is always just skill and will. Yeah.
Some people actually see centralized exchanges also a good source of due diligence. If it's listed in a particular exchange, that's a good project to go kind of perception there is in the market. What would you recommend in terms of retail investors picking projects to invest? Like what stages they can actually go through to pick the due diligence beyond the picking just a safe centralized exchange?
Yeah, I mean, from a due diligence point of view, what I said is before this, what I said the same thing about the white paper kind of thing. So if you see from a centralized exchanges, we do our due diligence perspective from our side. That is KoinBX. Whenever a project lists into the KoinBX, we actually do the proper due diligence of the process. Whether what the white paper is, who the founders are, do they have their kind of what they're saying, are they executing it or not? So all those aspects is something which we do from KoinBX's side, and then only we actually list it. And at certain point of time, if we see that they are not following the white paper, because there's a very high chance that these projects are usually, the use cases are in future. So if the use cases are not being delivered after a couple of 2 to 3 years, there's a very high chance that we even delist the projects at point of time, because we see that, okay, they have written the white paper, the founders are good, but at times it might not do well. So we try to then we try to actually delist it. But at the same time, we try to give a security to our investors, to our users, that okay, whichever tokens are listed on KoinBX, those would be having a kind of proper due diligence aspect which is already done. Second, there is always a threat on the centralized or a decentralized kind of exchange, because on decentralized exchanges there could be any token which might come up. Now, creating a token is not a big task. I can create a Brian token for within 5 minutes and with just 5,000 INR. You can say with just like $1,000 or maximum. That's the maximum which might require to create a full-fledged kind of a token. And I can create it, I can put it to my decentralized exchanges, and everybody might be buying it. Okay, and the moment they buy it, I may do a rug pull and then just go away. So those things can be done on decentralization. Now this is the negative part, but on the positive part, there could be like you might create an exchange, you might be nobody in this world. I mean, you might be not having a great career or something, but at the same time, you might have a great idea with you, and you might create a token within 5 minutes and create optimize it to the best way. Okay, I can do that also. I mean, there are both sides. There could be a negative side, there could be an optimistic side. On the optimistic side, you might create a token and then start optimizing it to the industry and then bring in use cases and then bring the actual kind of thing. So in that case, the token might do well. Okay, now everything remains on the aspect that how good and well maintained the tokens are and how white paper is taken care of.
So, what's your expectations for the next rounds? We are talking about a huge attitude change beyond the VC's attitudes, like which projects to support. It was a time where everyone throwing money to any projects that's out there, but that's changing in a good way. So there's like more infrastructure and technological innovation related projects getting more and more popular. What's your expectation for the 2024 market? Which kind of projects the retail investors and institutional investors are going to choose? What do you think? And what sort of technological innovations we are expecting for the safety of the users and the maturity of the space?
Sure, that's a clear question of what's the outlook of 2024. But yeah, nicely asked. So for 2024, what we
crypto then.
Yeah. So what we are currently seeing is that from a crypto kind of a perspective, earlier we had seen a huge boom in the NFT marketplaces, especially NFTs. People are buying any crazy NFT at any point of price. Okay, and there are a lot of people. I had seen my friends coming up and saying that, okay, Brian, this is the NFT. Can I buy it off? And I told him this is not going to do well anyway, because even if you take that NFT, where will you use it? Okay, now there were a lot of NFTs with digital shoes. At least we can run with those shoes and gain some points. That is step in, and there are many such NFTs which have come. But other NFTs like musical NFTs, display NFTs, there are a lot many NFTs which came. Now what we have to understand, why I'm saying about this NFT market is because, and why the reason you have to understand that this has crashed is because it did not have a proper base to it. For an NFT to come up, there should be a proper base, and that base is actually metaverse. Okay, only if the metaverse world comes up, then only the NFT will come up with the metaverse world. Now, when is metaverse world coming up? It is when the Apple's AR devices which will come up. Okay, now we call it metaverse, but Apple calls it. Apple is a big tech company. iPhone's creator of MacBooks, iPhones, and iPads and everything. They are sitting with trillions of cash in hand, and they are coming up with something known as AR. Okay, now AR is augmented reality, but in other terms, it's simple metaverse world. So when the metaverse world comes in, this augmented reality world will come up, and you can see a boom in the metaverse kind of into the thing. So this is for the 2024. I see a lot of these metaverse tokens to go up, to do well. So we are also trying to look at these tokens out there. Secondly, we are seeing at the from an outlook perspective, we are seeing the Bitcoin halving. That is, Bitcoin halving is which will actually help the miners to get more money. So any market, it's usually an operator's market. So 50% of the time, it is usually the operator's market. So you can see the Bitcoin prices going up, and that's the reason why even you see today the Bitcoin prices have gone up, but the altcoins have not grown up. It is mostly an operator kind of a game. Thirdly, and the most important aspect, that is the Fed rate cuts. Okay, Fed rate cuts is like it's like very simple. If you Fed rate cut could be a jargon, but if you go and check your home loan rates, if your home loan rates is currently at 9%, 8%, these rates would come down to 6% or 7%. And this is the exact thing what the governments do to drive the economy. Okay, they cut the rates and the economy spikes up, it pumps up. And then exactly to solve this problem, back in 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto actually started Bitcoin. Okay, now the same thing would be coming up. So back in the next Jan or February 2024, you will see the Fed rate cuts coming from the US. You will see in India the RBI would be cutting rates. You will see the Thai government also cutting the rates, the UK government cutting the rates. That's when there'll be more money in the market and market would start pumping. So so to your question, three things: Fed rate cuts, Apple's AR devices, third, Bitcoin halving. These three things would drive the 2024 market to crazy levels.
These are great insights. Thank you so much also for highlighting the importance of the software, the hardware, and the holistic version of, like, for any economy to develop basically the advancements that requires to use an app, use an infrastructure, and also we have the smartphone penetration, internet accessibility, and cheaper electricity, and it's actually a whole ecosystem we should consider when we are making a market prediction, right? Thank you for reminding us that. And finally, what is the roadmap of KoinBX? What are you planning for 2024 to have an announcement basically for what's upcoming?
Yeah, so as I said before, as our discussions was also there, it's centralized or decentralized. Now that's the biggest advantage for a centralized exchange like KoinBX. We have these research done on which tokens are coming up, which new news are coming up, which will drive the markets. That's the reason why KoinBX does kind of these researches to drive the users, or you can say to understand the market very well and give the value back to the users. Only if you give the value back to users, people would actually benefit, and that's when when the users grow, we also grow. So from that aspect, we do a lot of these researches part. Secondly, our research team is getting more stronger and robust. So currently it was just around 15 to 18 people in the research team. Now we are going to increase that to around 25 people from a research.
It's a hiring opportunity.
Yeah, that's the hiring opportunity. Secondly, from a product perspective, futures, staking also coming in, derivatives also coming into the market. And the third advancement for KoinBX is that it is growing exclusively into African markets also now. I mean, we have already captured the Indian market. Now KoinBX would be capturing the UAE market, and now third market which we are capturing, KoinBX would be getting into the African markets also in 2024.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the amazing insights and the chats, and hope to see you next year in Bangkok, WBS.
Yes, definitely. I mean, if there is WBS, we are there because it's a great event. So we always try to attend WBS. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our guests.